Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Kenny from the Citrix product marketing team, and welcome to the first installment of the Workspace Essentials Webinette series. This series is going to highlight the key elements of our entry-level offering into Citrix Workspace. Today, we're joined by Daniel Jim, also from our product marketing team, and he's going to talk about VPN Less access to on-prem web and SaaS apps, single sign-on, and multi-factor authentication. Hey, Daniel, thanks for being here today.
Hey, Eric. Happy to be here.
All right, so let's get right into it, and we'll talk about the topic of VPN-less access to apps. So let's talk about what that means and why they should replace VPNs.
That's a great question, Eric. And let's start with the current situation and traditional VPNs. Due to recent events, remote work has seen a significant increase, with a recent Gartner survey stating that 74% of companies intend to shift some employees to remote work permanently. A notable company that is allowing remote work forever is Twitter, and other tech giants such as Google and Facebook have extended their work from home policies to 2021. This represents a gigantic shift in how IT departments will have to adapt to a new normal, and the spotlight is on how companies will provide remote access for the workforce to stay productive during these times and in the future. VPNs are what most companies are using to enable remote access. However, times are changing, and Gartner predicts that 60% of companies will be phasing out their VPNs by 2023 for more modern security solutions.
So that is a lot of companies dropping their VPNs very quickly, Daniel. Why aren't they keeping them?
So VPNs are outdated and are proven problematic for the following reasons. First off, most VPNs were deployed to serve a smaller percentage of the workforce, and companies are scrambling to increase capacity with the drastic increase in employees who are now working remotely. With a VPN, this takes time for the IT department to manually configure and deploy additional VPN appliances. The second reason is that VPNs create a bridge directly to a company's network. This exposes the network to threats such as DDoS, sniffing, and spoofing attacks once an attacker has been able to breach the network through a compromised user. The next reason is the poor user experience. Connections through VPNs have been historically slow, and the increased traffic has exacerbated it even further. The final reason is that all personal and business traffic from an end user is routed through the data center. Employees have concerns about how their employers will protect their personal data.
So how does Workspace Essentials resolve all these issues with VPNs?
For the first issue of scaling and capacity planning with VPNs, Workspace Essentials is a cloud service that is available anywhere in the world and automatically scales up and down. Access is typically exposed to the network level with a VPN. With Workspace Essentials, access is given at the application layer, which removes the risk of these network-wide attacks. VPNs create a poor user experience, and end users often have performance issues when accessing their resources. Workspace Essentials optimizes the delivery of SaaS and web apps. Finally, because Workspace Essentials only transmits corporate data to company servers, unlike traditional VPNs that transmit all data, corporate and personal, these privacy concerns are alleviated with this solution.
That sounds pretty awesome, Daniel. So let's switch gears a little bit, and we'll talk about single sign-on and multi-factor authentication. Can you start off by telling us what those are and how they can help companies?
Absolutely. Currently, a user without a single sign-on solution must create and manage separate usernames and passwords for every single application they use. With single sign-on, a user is given a single key to access multiple resources instead of having to remember a variety of different credentials. Single sign-on is important because without it, you're putting two important things at risk for your organization: time and security.
So those sound like some pretty business critical matters, Daniel. Why are they at risk here?
Let us begin with time. Users without single sign-on is a time issue because users are forced to remember every password for every application. Even if you only have 100 employees and 10 applications, that is a potential of 1,000 unique passwords that are likely to be forgotten and requested to be reset. It is no surprise that 20% of all help desk tickets are related to password resets, underscoring how much of IT's valuable time is being wasted resetting passwords. Now let's talk about the security risk. To hackers, passwords are just accessible, identifiable points of breach. In light of this, it's alarming but no surprise that stolen weak credentials accounted for 60% of data breaches for small and medium businesses this year. Not only is that an issue because many passwords are weak, but also because they're reused. Surveys show that most employees reuse passwords across applications, so the attack surface is large and easy to take advantage of.
So how exactly does single sign-on mitigate the risks associated with time and security?
Single sign-on within Workspace Essentials helps by centralizing password management for both IT and end users, which shrinks the vulnerable attack surface and makes it easier on the end user by minimizing the number of passwords they need to remember to access their applications. Workspace Essentials includes a rich identity ecosystem, and customers will be able to reuse their existing infrastructure from Okta, Microsoft Duo, etc., and unify them.
It's pretty awesome that a single sign-on solution from IT can enhance security, but then also help employees save their time so they can focus their energy on more valuable projects. We also talked a little bit before about multi-factor authentication. Could you just elaborate on that a little bit more and talk about how it works with Workspace Essentials?
Sure. Multi-factor authentication essentially grants an extra layer of security when users are signing in and allows IT to determine what parameters should require re-authentication. Users will be able to utilize one-time passwords such as Google and Microsoft Authenticator, and also, from that previous slide, leverage third-party identity providers such as Okta, Active Directory, and Ping. Sometimes it is easier to understand by seeing how it works with your own eyes. Let us look at a demonstration of SSO with MFA in action.
With Citrix Workspace, users receive single sign-on capabilities to SaaS and web apps. A user authenticates with Citrix Workspace with a primary identity configured by the organization. The user's primary identity could be Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, Okta, Google, Radius, and more. Once successfully authenticated, a user can seamlessly access any authorized resource without providing secondary credentials. Within Workspace, when an external user selects an internal web application, they access the internal web app without creating a VPN. Once established, Workspace provides SSO to provide a seamless user experience. When the user selects a SaaS application, Citrix Workspace provides SSO to eliminate the need for the user to remember and enter credentials. Single sign-on within Citrix Workspace improves the user experience by providing VPN-less access to internal web applications and single sign-on capabilities to SaaS and web apps.